What are you doing, Wookie boy? Wookie, 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 Wookie. Wookie, 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 Wookie boy. Wookie. Wookie. You're going, go. You get up there. No. No. Beast. That's Bella's baby from like 6 years ago. I think he's about 6. Well, October he turned 6. Look at how beautiful it is today. My neighbors have already left. They were only here for 2 days this time. It's just kind of like an off-grid property. They don't have a well and they don't have electrical, as you can see. Like they have a wind turbine, and I think they might have a couple solar panels, but they don't really, it's not really a full house. It's just a couple sheds, like a living room shed, I think, and then like maybe a kitchen type thing. They don't really have a full setup here. I guess I guess they do have a well, but he had a pump, and they told me that somebody here told him, oh, you shouldn't leave your pump behind when you take off, and so he threw it in the back of his truck. And then when he drove back home, they live in Roseburg. When he drove back home, he stopped at a store and went in, and I guess somebody stole their pump out of the back of his truck. He should have just left it. You know, like, we haven't had any problems out here. Not with stealing. Although the neighbor over in that red house said that a messed up car one time stopped by and stole his gas can. But I don't know. I don't know if that's really true or not. Hey, sweetie. How are you today? Good. That's a beautiful bike. She's got a couple sisters. They're so cute. It's a good family. Her mom's a real good cook too. Good cook. Yum, yum, yum. She makes me something to eat every now and again. Oh, anyway. So, I was trying to think of a story. Oh, we did have one problem one time. It was about a year or so ago. There was a homeless lady that tried to move out here, and she managed to stay here for a good 3 months. She talked one of the neighbors into staying there, gave him some sob story about how she was getting a divorce and she didn't have any place to go, and all this hootenanny long story stuff. And I caught her over in my garden and, you know, booted her out. And she had taken a couple of my dog cages, a couple $100 each. I didn't realize that that's what she had been doing. I didn't realize that they were missing until a couple days after she got chased off. And anyway, managed to get her name. And a friend of mine's a lawyer. He ran her name. Come to find out, she had a couple kids in Portland. One of her daughters owns a restaurant or something like that. And just a scam artist, basically, is what she was. And she was able to scam one of the guys here in town, because I can only imagine, you know, he thought he was getting a girlfriend or something. She stayed here for a couple months, and the police said, because I reported my cages stolen, and she was the only person. I got a camera back there and stuff, but I didn't have it on at the time. She took a couple of my no trespassing signs, tore those off, stuff like that. And I knew that she'd been in my yard because I could track her. I tracked her feet prints all over my yard. She's lucky one of my dogs didn't bite her. So I was really, really scared about that at the time. And anyway, I tracked her. So I knew what she had taken when I started following the footprints and realized what was going on. And called, I notified the sheriff and all that stuff. And, showed the proof of footprints, but they can't really, they're really not going to do anything, which they didn't do anything. It's been over a year. Never seen my dog cages again. And I told the sheriff, my dogs bite. She's lucky that they weren't out. Because I usually lock them in. I'm she's lucky that they weren't out, because they would have. They're pit bulls. That's what they're trained to do. They're not supposed to let people in my yard. And they're trained to, take care of people. They don't kill the deer or the antelope that come in my yard, but they will bite. And I've had that issue years prior. When somebody came in my house, my dog bit them. They just thought it was somebody else's house. I don't know. That was their excuse. Everybody's always got an excuse or a reason for when they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing. Anyway, so I, found out her name and all that kind of stuff. Ran her background. She's got, on her credit report, she attempted to sue 4 or 5 different people. It was all thrown out of court, frivolous lawsuits or whatever. Found out her daughter owned a restaurant and all that jazz. And the guy that was letting her stay there, he wouldn't let her get her mail there. She was trying to, but he wouldn't let her. And so that's how the sheriff ran her out of town, was she, kept trying to use the post office and all that kind of stuff. And finally, the post office shut her down and said if she didn't get a box, she couldn't even come up with $30 to get a post office box. And so they told her she's got to go. And I asked the sheriff later on, whatever happened to her. And he said she went to Portland and went to her daughter's house. She was just seeing what she could get out here. She thought because everybody out here is so nice and they'll help you, that she could scam people. But it's also open. We can see. Just looking around, we can see what goes on, kind of. And everybody knows everybody here. And if they see somebody suspicious doing whatever, and unfortunately nobody saw her take my cages, but they weren't surprised because they'd found her in their yards, acting suspicious, stuff like that. And then also one night, one of the ladies was out walking. She walks in the evening time. And that same lady started following her. And look, if somebody started following me, that would be very suspicious. Come on. And so she didn't think it was that suspicious at first, but she noticed that she was intoxicated, and then she started talking to her, and just, I don't know, it was weird. And so she ended up going in a completely different direction and, mentioned it to the rest of us. And then there's just other neighbors that had problems with her and just acting suspiciously. And so when that happens, our guards go up and we shut down. The whole town will just shut down. We're not helping you until we know who you are, what you're doing, why you're here. We'll do backgrounds on you. We're not kidding out here. We will literally run your name. We will find out. We will dig, because unless you have a house here, or unless you're a resident, or, that kind of stuff, we're suspicious. If you're just some homeless person thinking that you can come and prey on us, we're not down for that. We don't do that. We've got just a handful of kids here, and we protect those kids. Everybody does. We're not fooling. So she went off to Portland, and we haven't seen or heard anything since. So that's kind of nice. What a beautiful evening tonight, huh? Like, oh, I want spring to come so bad. I just really, 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 really want spring. So much. I'm starting to see more people. Look at it. There's another person that's walking. Oh, okay. That gentleman, I think. No, I think that comes from the old Kingdom Hall. They're a nice couple. I've chatted just about with everybody here. I mean, small town, you can't help it. So, and one of the locals just became a grandma for the first time. Congratulations, Ange. She's super excited about that. It's her first grandbaby. It's a little girl. So cute. Didn't that truck just pass me a second ago? Oh, I just love the blue sky against the trees. It's my favorite. It's my absolute favorite. When I got eye surgery a few years back, I'm an artist. I paint paintings. I'm retired now, but I painted, I don't know, hundreds of paintings. And then I had eye surgery, and I was born with a cataract that covered one of my eyes, so I really couldn't see out of one. And then later on, I had an accident where I fell, and I caused blunt force trauma to the side of my head. And it caused a blue cataract to form. Anyway, so I had to go in and have surgery. I mean, you can't tell at all anything. That I had the best surgeons ever. I got a little tiny scar of plastic surgery around my chin, but nothing else you can't really see. And anyway, so I had the surgeries. I had to have 2. And after I had the surgeries, I found out I was colorblind. So see you in a minute. Sorry, I had to hurry up and cut that, but it was the neighbors that's over. Oh, they got a deer in their yard. And I didn't want to catch him on the video, so I was trying to be real careful. But I don't know if you can see. Maybe I can zoom in and try to hold still. You see the deer over there? Oh, it's making my hand shake. I don't know why. Anyway, so I finished my story about my eyes. So then after they did some testing on me and stuff, and I had my surgery in Medford. She didn't really say anything to me, and then after, I don't know if it was miscommunication or my ADHD, or I just didn't pick up what she said, or I wasn't listening well. I mean, it could be any of those things, I'm telling you. But when I came out of surgery the second time, and I had bandages on and stuff like that, and I went home, and I slept for, I don't know, a day and a half or so. And because I had to have the surgeries, and then I was bandaged up, and then I had to go back like 10 days later and have more surgeries. And then I was bandaged up, and I had some stitches in my eyeball. So I do have a scar on my eyeball. If you look really closely, you can see it but most people don't pay attention to the scar inside my eye. It runs right along underneath my pupil. And anyway, so when I got my bandages off, I was pretty happy. And I only had to leave the bandages on the second time for a few days. Look at all those birds up there. And I didn't realize I was colorblind until I got my bandages off. And then, oh, that was very emotional. I cried and cried. I couldn't stop crying. It was weird. I wasn't sad. I don't even know. I guess I would say I was overwhelmed and shocked. I'm going to say shocked more than anything, because all those paintings, I had painted like 900 paintings. And I have photos of them and stuff. So, and I have a lot of the paintings. I mean, I probably have about 50 still. And they were not the colors I thought they were. It was so shocking to me. The sky was the hardest thing to comprehend. The color, the blue, what I thought was blue was not exactly the blue that I thought that it was. And purple, I never liked purple. I always thought purple was a weird, ugly, I don't want to walk up this road, was a weird, ugly, dreary color. And I didn't like it, so I never wore it. I didn't buy that. It makes me wonder how many things I didn't buy because I didn't like the color of. Or what, reds didn't seem to change. Orange, red's kind of similar to me at the time. Now I can see there's quite a bit of difference. I didn't like yellow. Yellow was not like one of my favorite colors, but I love yellow now. Blue was the hardest to, I think, accept. And different shades of green. And that gray was an actual color. And let's see what other color was a bit off to me. The hardest thing was outside. Being outside and looking around outside. And at the time I lived in Central Point. And I loved it there. I loved the house. The rental that we were renting from. I loved it. I loved the backyard. My backyard was, oh, look at the tracks. I loved the backyard. That was when I first started planting sunflowers. And I really wasn't that into sunflowers. I just planted them because I'd gotten some seeds. And they were the Russian mammoths. I didn't have any other kind of sunflower. I just had the Russian mammoths. And I just thought it was like a cool, big, pukey looking flower. I mean, that was my best way that I could describe the color. Look pukey to me. I wasn't like that into it. A lot of my neighbors really liked the sunflowers because they were taller than my house. So they were in the backyard, but when they would walk on the sidewalk in front of my house, it looked like they told me it looked like big suns. Like I had a big sun in my backyard. And I remember I gave out so many sunflowers, seeds and stuff like that. I didn't really care that much about it. And and I had my eye surgery right at the end of summer. So I used to hang out. I used to have this little friend. It was like a bee. He was a honey bee. And he used to come and sit next to me. And I'd have a soda and I'd pour a little Pepsi in the cap of the soda. And he would drink out of that. And we would sit there. every day. Every day. I loved him. He was my buddy. And so I remember I would just sit there and cry because the sky looked different. So every day it seemed like it was different. I would go out late at night and stare up at the moon, and just, it was a very interesting time. And then ever since then, and this has been about 7 or 8 years ago, ever since then, I just love looking at views and looking at the mountain and I love looking at the sky. I just didn't know. I really didn't know that it was so different than what I was seeing. And I don't think I was mourning for all the years that I didn't see it. I just think it was just so shocking. And my paintings, oh my goodness. They were definitely a lot wilder than what I had really thought. This is a gorgeous tree right here. Isn't that gorgeous? I was thinking I might plant like a madrone out here. I have not seen any madrones. I saw 2 madrones when I was in Eugene, and usually there's not a lot of trees in town, but they had 2 small madrone trees. And then that got me to thinking, because there's no madrone out here. I don't know if a madrone would live, but they're pretty trees. And maybe I'm going to have to look up myrtle wood, because where I'm from in Bandon, they have a lot of myrtle wood trees and eucalyptus trees. I had a eucalyptus tree at my last rental, and man, that thing grew a lot in 3.5 years. It was so tall. It grew so fast. And it was just a baby, and it just, poof, like just straight up. It loved it. So I was thinking maybe I'd do another eucalyptus, a myrtlewood tree. I would love to do at least one madrone. I like madrone for like firewood. Love madrone for firewood. Smells good. It's nice looking. You don't get slivers. And it's a hard wood though. So if you're gonna use it for firewood, like you have to have somebody chop it for you, or you have to be, good at chopping wood. I'm good at dropping wood. I dropped a piece of wood on my big toe. Took my toenail. Oh man, it was awful. It broke it in the center. And it took, like 8 months for my toenail to completely, because the toenail ended up coming all the way off. And it took 8 months for it to come all the way back. And I was really paranoid about it. Very, very paranoid about it, because I'm not trying to brag, but I do have really cute feet, and feet are gross. I think feet are disgusting. I'm not a foot person, but I know that I have cute feet because people always say stuff about them. Always. And it's such a weird compliment to get. Like back in the day, I used to go and sit and wait for my ex-husband until he get off work. I'd sit in the Calaneva, and in Nevada it's hot, so you'd wear sandals. And I'd put my foot up on the side of the machine, and I couldn't believe how many people would stop while I'm minding my own business, playing a penny machine, trying not to waste, very much money. And they would make comments about my feet. And then I would really try hard not to put my foot up on the little edge. And I would try not to wear sandals, but it wouldn't matter because I'm a sandal loving fiend. I love sandals, love flip-flops. I love shoes. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. I have a terrible shoe fetish. Awful. It's so embarrassing, it really is. I have not allowed myself, I only allow myself now to buy one to two pairs of shoes a year. And it has to be replace something that I have worn out. Like, I mean, I've had these shoes 10 years. These Skechers. So I've been really trying to wear these ones out because I've had them a really, really long time. So I've been trying to really wear them out. And I'm not going to buy another pair of tennis shoes because I have a pair of Vans that I've had for like ever. And I like to wear those too. But I'm trying to really push these ones, you know, like get it going. And then I can wear my Vans, and I have other tennis shoes. It's embarrassing. I probably have 6 or 7 pairs of Skechers. Tennis shoes in different colors. It's ridiculous. Look at that gorgeous sky. Oh, this is such a long video. But I wanted to go on quite a long walk. It's so nice out. It's not super warm because I'm wearing gloves, but it's not cold. It's perfect. It's perfect for winter. Like, this is perfect. Look at that I don't know if you can see the bird flying. Maybe if you have a big TV. But look at that. How incredible that view is. Look at the pinks and the blue. I know all those colors now. And I know they're the right colors. Because I took an eye test again after my eye healed. And she said that it was normal. Because I first, like, I don't know, weird thoughts went through my head about after the surgery, maybe I didn't see things the right way that they were supposed to be. There's another bird. And nope, she said I passed the test the second time. And it was because my eye was looking through like brown, and then it was looking through a blue cataract. So I was looking through, like if you put a brown lens over your eye, and then put a blue lens on top of that brown lens. And you would think that it would register it or whatever differently. I don't know. It was a weird situation. I'm glad it's repaired. I would recommend eye surgery to anybody. I didn't feel any pain. I was super glad that I did it. I don't care about the scar inside my eyeball. The other one, no problem. It just dominated. The one eye was just dominating the other. So that took like kind of a little bit more of adjustment. But it's worth it. Absolutely nothing to be afraid of. I wasn't afraid of that surgery anyway, because to me that was a minor surgery. I've had way other surgeries. I got hit by a semi-truck. But I will save that for another time. But it happened in November 11th, 1979. No, November 14th. It happened November 14th, 1979. It was 7 days after my 7th birthday in 1979. So, now you guys know how old I am, which a lot of you already do because a lot of you know me personally and have seen me personally. But there you go. Now you got my age. So, oh, look at that color. Isn't that beautiful? Sunset. Isn't the sunset gorgeous? I don't know if it picks up on this camera, but but it's beautiful. It's got oranges in it. It's just really nice, and all the pinks. It's so pretty out. And it was a nice walk, and I was glad that I got to share it with you guys. Maybe I'll do more story times. I'll tell you about the accident on the next one. Bye, guys.